How's it going, everybody? Oh, once again, this is steamy, sorry. Okay. Filling up my water bowl. Give me a second here, you guys. Whoever is, oh, awesome. Dave, for hopping on. I've been checking out some of your YouTube videos lately. If you guys give me 1 second, I haven't done this before, but I'm just adding this to Instagram and giving them the invite. So I'm going to get straight into it, and then I want to mention where I have all this posted, kind of give my shout outs. Okay, hop on using tiny URL. Uh-oh. How's everyone doing today? Dave, thanks for hopping on. So today I'm going to do a first shave using this carbon razor, and I'm going to talk about a couple other things, but I'm sure people will enjoy this. Okay, so I just hopped out of the shower. I've been using the SV pre-shave, so forgive my oily face. Okay, so today I'm using Tundra Artica for my shave soap. As far as where I have this posted, I'm assuming there might be some of you guys that are watching this video that know me, but am not sure what this video is. So I've been traditional shaving, which is just using a brush and like a soap or a cream, and then you might use like a safety razor, which is what I'm going to use today. So if you do not know what traditional shaving is, you will see me go through the process of beard reduction or beard removal, and you'll see some of some gear that is different from a cartridge razor and like foam in a can. So, okay, I have it written down. Forgive me, you guys, but last time I did a live shave, there was one group I mentioned, which is kind of silly, but I want to give a shout out to the SoCal Wet Shavers Collective on Facebook. A few other Facebook groups would be Rich Man Shaving Group, Lather and Blade, which last time I mentioned was Razor and Brush, but I apologize, it's Lather and Blade. Also SV Aficionados. I have this linked. I think I'm live on YouTube as well publicly. And then there's a few forums I want to mention: the Shave Nook, Damn Fine Shave, and the Shave Cadre, or I'm sorry, the Shaving Cadre. And I think, oh, in case you guys don't know my Instagram, it's Questa Finestra in Italia, which means a window in Italy. I think I got all that covered. So anyway, some of you guys that are watching this, I'm sure are already in shaving, and maybe you're going to be curious about my experience with the carbon. Real quick, so the brush I'm going to be using is a 3-band Badger brush, and this is a 24 millimeter brush. It's not too big. I want to just make sure I get as much of the water out. Okay, so this was softened by putting a little bit of water on the soap puck while I was showering. And then I also added a little bit of cocoa butter and mango butter. And you use the brush to develop what we call a proto lather. You just want to pick up your product. And then once we start assembling it on the face, the goal is to limit how much air we whip into this lather. We're going to want to coat the face, and then we want to hydrate the face. So anyway, if you guys have any questions, feel free. The chat is live. Okay, so you guys could see. Oh, cool. All right, happens. Lose a hair every now and again. Think this is going to be good. What's up, David? Okay, if you guys are watching this specifically to see my results with the carbon razor, I will forewarn you that you are probably going to see me using it different as far as the angle than I think most people. And I was double checking this last night because in my last video, I know I was going to be receiving the carbon. And so I have one razor that I generally use the most, which is, it was a Canadian produced razor called the BBS1. And I've talked about that razor specifically in a lot of my previous shave videos from the last few years. And it comes up a lot because it's not really available. And that will be something that I talk about in regards to the carbon being a, publicly available razor. Okay. So real quick, if you guys can see when you have a natural hairbrush, you can sometimes use this to your advantage, but typically why I like badger brushes for shaving is that when I go to soak and then when I start loading and then assembling the lather, I don't have to go back to dip the brush in water. There's already going to be some water already in the knot. So you guys will see for a moment while I'm face lathering here, I'm going to just keep working the brush and I go really easy on the tips. And the reason is, before I inhale, which is soap lather. The reason for this is I typically try to create the lather at the tips. And what I mean by that is if I press in really hard, I think that that's when you start incorporating a lot more air into your guys' lather. So even when I do these circles, I'm really holding my hand away from my brush and just kind of letting a little bit of contact happen on my face. And so that will get the brush to splay. So, okay, getting back to the razors real quick. So I didn't use BBS1 razor last time because I wanted to use a different razor, one that wasn't so rare. So this razor, the carbon, has been around for a little bit of time now, I think since summer of last year. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to just add a little bit of water. But you guys will have to forgive me. I'm hoping mine isn't going to be all over the place, but pricing is going to be I think a kind of a general topic throughout this shave. So anyway, I used a much less rare razor, a Mula R41 in my last shave. And so if you guys are new to wet shaving, in general, what you're going to be kind of learning is that you kind of learn a process or you find a suitable setup that works best for your skin, maintaining comfort throughout your shave, after your shave. And then the other goal is to get a setup or a sequence of gear along with your technique down so that you can remove as easily as possible. On YouTube, there's going to be a lot of guys shaving their face, but in general, wet shaving is about comfort on your skin. So it could be ladies shaving their face. It could be ladies shaving their legs, guys shaving their head. I used to have a bald head, which I will again in a few years. Oh, excuse me. When I donate my hair. Okay, this lather is almost ready, so you guys are going to see me shave in a moment. But anyway, we are now going to use the carbon razor for the first time. So okay, I think this is good. What I wanted to try was just take a little bit and just wet it on top. Okay, so for some of you guys that know me or that have been traditional shaving for a little bit, for a very long time, I think going back maybe 6 years, the technique that I usually would use is I'd go against the grain first pass. And I've been experimenting lately with not doing that. And you guys will see me on this shave go with the grain first. So generally my beard will grow out of my skin and kind of lay down diagonally on my face. But okay, here's the razor today, you guys. First shave, I'm using a Kai, which is a Japanese-made razor blade, which I would say is probably the sharpest blade I can tolerate and that I actually enjoy. Before getting this razor, that was kind of one of the things I wasn't sure about, is what blade do I want to start with? Because as I've not really been trying out too much new gear the last 3-4 years, I mean, occasionally I'll get something new here and again, but I don't know why my grip doesn't feel good. So like I said, I got So Sharp David, Dave in Kentucky, 2 people that do YouTube videos. I can give them a shout out. But if anyone is watching and you want to let me know who you are or where you're watching. By the way, I'm in Los Angeles, you guys. So not in the city of Los Angeles, but the county. Excuse me. Okay, I'm going to start shaving. Now, you guys, when I'm on YouTube and I'm seeing people talk about the angle, usually I think it's going to be about here. But today, I'm going to actually, okay, so if this is held vertically, I'm going to hold it just slightly. And I'm not trying to press on the blade, but I can't get into this too much. This design apparently has, they say, blade forwardness, or there's blade overhang. And a lot of the razors that I've used in the last few years, this is kind of how I tend to shave. So you guys are going to actually see, it's probably going to look like I'm just shaving with the base plate. Now, luckily for me and luckily for you guys, this isn't to respond to people that are on YouTube shaving with very little facial hair, but let's see with this angle how much beard removal I can really get. Because last night I didn't cheat, but after I disinfected the razor last night, I did just play a little bit with that angle, and I think it's going to work. So I think it's Sean from Carbon Shave Company. If he's watching this, I'm curious to see what his thoughts will be. But you guys, just a preface, if you're watching this on YouTube, this is not the only way you can shave, and I'm not telling you guys how things have to be done. Okay, this handle's a little weird for me. I'm still kind of getting used to it. All right, so let's start right there. And you guys will be able to hear it. So I'm kind of going, like I said, with, there we go. I want to do my whole first pass, holding the handle like this. Couple notes on this razor. When I first, let me get my towel. When I first got this razor yesterday, it seemed much smaller than I anticipated. It's a very tight razor. I don't know if you guys, I have really long fingers, pretty big hands. So maybe that's why this seems small in comparison to people's pictures and everything. Okay. All right. we go. So kind of towards the bottom of my neck, the angle that you guys are, I think, going to normally see most people using this razor, where again, it's kind of the handles lifted. That works. There's nothing wrong with that. I just knew, I'm like, you know what? I remember seeing all these YouTube videos where people are using this and everyone's holding it like this. And I think in my mind, the other razor that I am planning on getting, so you guys look, I'm like kind of holding it almost like a pencil. And I guess the balance point for me, Sean, if you're watching this from Carbon, one of the reasons why if I could have bought just the head, I would have, is you'll see in a second, I'll pull up my aluminum handle. This is actually really, really close in the length to the handle that I've been using the last 6 years with just about every razor. But where I'm kind of trying to hold that focus is right there. So I'll kind of go here. Right there, a little bit more angle. But I think the Tri-Talk razor from Italy or from Focus, see now I just keep relaxing that handle closer to my face. And it still cuts. But I think that Tri-Talk razor R52 is going to be kind of similar in how I'll try it. And it's kind of where I'm focusing a little bit more weight, or not weight, I'm sorry. There's just a little bit more focus around the base plate really being in contact with the skin. And I'm assuming you guys can hear the audio feedback from when the blade's cutting the beard. So here, just real quick, you guys, I'll show you on the bottom of my neck. But let me, I'll show you this one. Yeah, Dave, that's why I wanted to, on my last, I think like 3 or 4 shaves, the videos haven't been posted in the Shave Cadre, which I'm pretty sure you're in. But I didn't see any threads. And you're riding the base plate rather than the top cap like most do. Correct. So give me a second, Dave, but yeah, there was no threads, Dave, in the Shave Cadre on the Carbon, so figured I would post it in there. Okay. All right, so here, let me turn the side. I'll use this angle that we're kind of talking about. Okay, so now the handle is aimed up a little bit. Hopefully you guys can see. Basically, give me a second here, you guys. Bad lather. Okay, here we go. There, I'm just kind of going with whatever angle seems to be intuitive. All right, there we go. First pass done. Okay. So a couple things. Hey, what's up, Spider? I've seen plenty of your videos. I forget. I know your name, but I'm forgetting. Thanks for hopping on, though. I was actually checking out a couple of your shaves last night. So, okay, let me rinse. So you guys, like in a few of my last videos, I said this is not going to be a review video. I'm just going to use it on my shave. But I figured if I bought this razor, I should know pretty quickly if I'm going to like it or not. I am going to at least use it 5 to 10 times. And then the next shave you guys will see, I actually have the newer release from Carbon, which is a larger blade gap. If I'm remembering, this is 0.68 blade gap. And then the one that I have coming in later this week is 1.08. But here's the idea, you guys. So with this angle, what I'm trying to do is get the skin, since it's elastic, to bend kind of around the bottom part of this base plate so that I don't have to get the blade exposure here. I can get a little bit more. I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain, but again, it's kind of like what Dave's saying. Yeah, just a little bit more base plate attention. So anyway, the next shave I'll do with that larger base plate. I will still use a Kai, and what I might do, I think what I just shaved off right now was 5 days of beard growth. And so that's a pretty comfortable shave for me, as far as sometimes shaving with less beard is not as easy or enjoyable for me. Okay. But hope you guys are all doing good. Okay, so I had got this secondhand, so I did not buy this direct. But the cool thing is, you know, here's the thing with pricing is, I think in general, most of the people that I've seen mention this razor say that it's expensive, which I wouldn't necessarily say is different from my opinion. But I kind of gotten off track on one of my last videos, but I want to bring up Wolfman, because here's the thing with a razor that is in demand, but the supply is not there, you get flipping. So if I want to buy a razor from Wolfman up in Canada, I can do that. I can get it. I can throw it on eBay and maybe flip it for double my money. But let's say I'm somebody that is buying that razor off of eBay, and I'm buying a razor at an inflated price. So if I buy a Wolfman, let's say for $1,500 USD, there's going to be a lot of people that tell you that's not worth it. And the reason why I really wanted to buy this Carbon razor as well as the Tri-Talk is I want to have a backup for in case I sell my BBS one or maybe I lose it. And so $250 for this type of razor it's expensive, because my first razor, you guys, I got back in 2013, I believe, from Shave Nation. Shout out to Geo Fat Boy. But I think a Merkur razor was probably like, let's say $50. So what would be the difference between buying a cheaper safety razor and a more expensive safety razor? You guys, I could probably buy a BBS one head, let's say for like $800. I'm just throwing out like a large number. And I wouldn't want to pay $800, but if I really wanted one, I could make that worth my money. So you guys, for the last like 6 years, the BBS one has been my main razor. So if I had to repurchase another one for a high price, if I'm using it for the rest of my life, that's how you get your value out of purchasing. So this is something that I've talked about a lot on my videos, is I'm not really getting back into these shave videos with the intention of trying to become popular or, I don't know. I'm here to kind of, again, like here I have these guys in the chat, but I know them to a degree. But a big thing for me is I want people to have the best shaves that they can. And I want them to know, at least from my experience and perspective, You do not have to spend your money on the most expensive gear available, and you do not need to buy the most up-to-date or newly released stuff to be able to get your best shaves. So when you guys see me using this carbon razor, if you say he's using a really expensive razor, this is why it's so expensive. Whoever Gear Noir is, thank you. See, this is, why I'm trying to get a little bit of a better format in my razors. I'm sorry, in my videos. But you guys, if you wanted a Wolfman razor and you bought it for $1,500, it really could be a valuable purchase if you know that if you buy it and try it and it works, you just use that one razor. You don't have to have a ton of these really expensive razors. So I don't know how much I'm going to be able to speak on price, but I will tell you guys, I'll come back to brushes because I think the brush video that I'll be releasing sometime soon has a lot to do with pricing. Okay, so you guys, let's try across the grain. Okay, I'm going to do my more aggressive across the grain. So from ear to nose. This handle is a little too narrow. It's too thin for me. The grip is okay. I like the weight, but honestly, it's going to take a little getting used to. Just get this water off, but this video's ended up long, you guys. Okay. It's pretty much shaving how I expected, you guys, so. Okay, so right there, I want to keep that handle kind of down and close. So now I'm going to hold it a little closer to the bottom. Okay, Dave in Kentucky, I don't know how much this will make sense, but when I talk about this angle, the way that I kind of think about it is in some way I'm moving the razor kind of like a squeegee. Do I like it though? Yeah. My nose gets so itchy. I'm sorry, you guys. The reason why I use the Kai blade, and David, this will go to what you're talking about, is that BBS1 razor I used for so many years, not because it's the, check it out, you guys. People were saying the Kais do bite. So I was wanting to really test this razor. So that's okay. The BBS1 was and is my most used razor because of the compromise of smoothness. It's very close, but it's not the closest razor that I have. So it's very efficient, but the amount of comfort on my skin is very high. So I don't use it because of how rare it is or how close it shaves. It's the most comfortable shaver. Now, this razor, I kind of assumed was going to shave a little differently, but close, and I think it's working. So David, I do like it. Why did I not use a Nasset or something that I would consider like a more mild blade? Well, a lot of people would say feathers can be, to some people, the sharpest or maybe a harsh razor. And I would agree with that. For me, they're not usually the greatest blades, but Kais are very sharp. They're very smooth. You just need to make sure that you don't have pressure, or like there, I had a little, I think, pimple or something. So that doesn't surprise me. Okay. Okay, let's go against the grain for right here. I really can't do across the grain that well. So this may be it for my shave, you guys, just this last pass. But I wanted to see how this razor did first time with a Kai, and it's shaving how I expected. Very close, very clean. I'm just really trying to be attentive to that angle. And you guys may see on my next shave, I'll probably use the Razor Rock aluminum. Okay, see, I'm really holding it close to the bottom to kind of maintain this. Okay. There will be blood. Yeah. I don't know, you guys. I mean, it's obviously, yeah. David, I like it. I like it. The handle I'm not sold on yet, which is okay. I need to get more practice with it. But you guys, the aluminum razor, I'm sorry, the aluminum handle that I use is slightly wider, especially at the bottom. So I like the weight distribution of this. It's just, for me, having such long fingers, I think having a wider handle to hold on is easier for me. But I think I'm actually preferring the smoothness when I'm holding it at this angle where the handle is just barely lifted. Okay, so against the grain on this side, it just seems like maybe with the Kai, it's easier for me to not feel the roughness when I'm not holding it with that handle up. So it's less comfortable for me to hold it that way than it is to hold it more vertically. So if any of you guys are watching this and you have a carbon, why don't you try that? Don't press on the safety razor, or the safety bar, I mean, but hold that handle. See right there, it's not that it's uncomfortable, but it just seems like the skin is just a little bit more at risk. So, all right, let's feel. That's probably going to be it, because you guys, I'm typically not a 3-pass shaver, but if you look at the beginning of the video, there's enough visible growth. Okay, so we did have one nick here, which was all me. Yeah, that's a pimple. So, okay, and then it feels really nice, guys. It's close. So I'm looking forward to more shaves with it. I'm trying to think if there's going to be any other points. I don't want to make this too long. Okay, here's the aluminum handle. I'm going to take the titanium. This is a Carbon CX, which is the head. And then this is a titanium handle. Okay, so what I usually use, I'm so shaky all the time, you guys. I think it's just because I haven't eaten yet today. Okay, here we go. The length is almost the same. It's got to be dead on. The difference, though, is the width. Now, here's the thing, though. Yeah, the biggest difference is just that it's this bottom, and these might be the same diameter. I don't know, but this is easier to grip for me versus this. It's not an issue of the balance point. It's that the knurling on this is not the deepest or the sharpest. So I'm going to keep using this, but I think I will use this next. So that will be something to keep in mind, you guys. Just a couple of points on pricing again. You see, you guys, I'll talk about this sometime in the future. Okay, so this was, I think, like $50. Oh, check out all those nicks. I think we'll be okay. All right, not too bad. I want to see. but I don't think I really have any razor burn. So if you guys have never seen my videos, here's what I usually shoot for. If I have nicks, it's okay, but razor burn is what I really need to avoid. So that's kind of what I shoot for. But let's say someone new is getting into wet shaving. I'm really not going to recommend someone get a Badger brush. My first brush was a Tweezerman Pure Badger, which I think was like 10 bucks. I ended up upgrading after that really quickly. So this synthetic brush I've had for 6 years, I think. And my first Plasson brush, Badger brush, was a vintage one from the 70s or the 80s. It was 500 bucks. And I got that before this. So maybe 7 years ago. So this goes back to why I brought up Wolfman earlier in this video. You guys, the $500 brush that I bought, because I didn't use it, that's why I sold it. The brush was incredible, but I didn't want to keep it because it was kind of like a museum piece rather than this. Although this is not a very luxurious brush, especially to many that are into wet shaving, this is just too floppy. There's no backbone. The softness is too much. I get it. But for the fact that I've gotten so much more use out of this over the years, this is where the value is. And when I sold that $500 Plasson brush, I was able to recoup all the money. But it was kind of, it didn't really make any sense for me to keep something that expensive in my den if it wasn't going to be used. So I'm just letting you guys know that I think there are going to be times where value is very subjective, and that's based on how much use you get out of an item. Okay, so here, just to kind of wrap up, when you're buying a lot of soaps, you guys, you could complain about a soap being very expensive per ounce. So like, I think right now, let's say $4 to $6 is very expensive. When you buy something that's cheaper per ounce and you buy a ton of them, the fact that you don't use those consistently and know how long it takes to get through something, you don't know how expensive or how much it costs per shave. But then you end up having a huge tub of soap like I did. And so for someone to say like, okay, if I use SV soaps, are those considered high-end? I think that they're kind of more moderate to high-end price. But the fact is, all the ones that I've used, I've like gone through them and use them consistently. So I'm not buying and dabbling between a huge rotation of soaps. So I want to remind you guys, if you buy something that you think is expensive, I think it becomes more valuable the more you use it because you get your money out of it. So you can still buy something at an overinflated price, and you can still get your money's worth out of it. But if it sits around and you don't use it and you continue to buy more and more gear, that's where you're not going to be helping yourself. So I actually may consider buying the stainless steel handle for this razor. But to be honest, I really was interested in just the geometry of it and the head. So the only other thing too, you guys, is next week or later this week, I don't know when I'll do the video, I won't be using Tundra Artica. This soap works really well for me, but I want to use something that's a little thicker. And this one is the thinnest lather that I kind of shave with amongst the shave soaps. And it worked well, but I will tell you guys, when you're kind of seeing everything on YouTube nowadays, you've got people making the yogurt literally on their face because soaps are able to handle so much water. I think that's great. Typically, that's what I prefer, but SV has made in a range of soaps, and Tundra Artica tends to be the opposite of what I prefer. So you guys, if you get a good slick lather with a straight razor, I think you can get away with having a very thin lather. For me, when I'm using double-edged razors, I think I benefit from more cushion or more volume in the lather. So I've gone over a lot of topics. You guys, thanks for watching. We're 40 minutes in. I will be doing a shave in probably less than a week, again, live on video. That'll be with almost the same setup, same brush. We use a different SV soap. You'll probably see me use the carbon razor with the larger gap base plate. I'll probably use this. Again, when I'm doing these, you guys, I'm holding this handle really low. And the idea is to not get that base plate, get the cap on the face. It's more to get as much of the base plate that I need on the face to then get that contact with the razor. So, again, if you guys have any questions, let me know. I hope I didn't miss anything, but I appreciate everyone watching, and I'll see you guys soon. Okay. Have a good one.